Morning everyone, it's Buck up in far north Queensland on a rainy old morning. This was going to be a backyard cook up today. This one's going to be epic, I'll warn you out now. Something totally different. It's turned into a shed cook up, guys, because typical Innisfail weather, it's pissing down rain 1 minute and then the sun pops its head out, then it's raining again. So I can't trust the weather. It's turned into a shed cook up, but I'm using charcoal, so that doesn't matter, so I can still get away with it. This is what I'm using today. Something I had a fire in the other day and I haven't used this much at all. It's the flat out fire pit. I bought this at the Cairns show 2 or 3 years ago now, and I haven't used it that much, and I'll tell you what, it's a bloody great backyard fire pit. It really is. It clips together, it folds down flat. It's too heavy to take camping, everyone. It has got some weight, I'll warn you out now. But it's one of those ones where you can have a rotisserie, which I have, and you'll see some cook-ups with that soon. It's an absolute cracking fire pit, it really is. I'm going to use it in conjunction with some other cast iron gear that I've got. I'm going to be using the cast iron skillet. I'm going to be using my medium-sized camp oven. I'm going to cook a damper in that, just as a little bloody side dish. And this is the star of the show, Jack Turtle's Potjie, guys. And today, as I said, I'm using charcoal. I'm going to be slow cooking something, and by the time you get to see this clip, you'll know what it is, because I was running a competition on it. So I'm going to be using charcoal. I'll be starting the charcoal up soon, because what I'm cooking in here, I've got to sear first in the skillet, and then I'm going to be slow cooking this. It's about 9:30 on Saturday morning. I'm going to slow cook this all day, and you can do that with charcoal. That's why I love charcoal. If you want to slow cook, charcoal is the way to go. I'll start it up, get it nice and hot to start with, to sear everything in that, and then as the heat dies down, I just simmer away all day. And as you think it's losing a bit of heat, throw a couple more bits in there and it catches off the other stuff, and you can just slow cook all day with it. And the idea with the potjie is, once all the gear's in there, we don't stir it, or Hein will be up me. So let's get over to that table behind me, and I'm going to show you what we're cooking up today. So this is the thing that everyone was trying to guess there a little while ago. By the time you see this clip, you would have known what it is, because tomorrow I'm running a live feed, and the people that guessed correctly on this thing went into a hat, and if I had my crystal ball, I would know who was going to win it. And at the time of filming this, which is Saturday, 29th, whatever it is today, 28th or 29th of June, at the time of filming this, I only had 3 correct answers. Now, for the person who said I was cooking damper, that didn't cut the mustard. All right, I am cooking a damper, but that's not the star of the show. The thing in this bag is, the only 3 people that even came close, the person who was right on the money was Pete McMurtry down in Townsville. The other 2, Anthony Wicks and Marky Lavelle. At the time of recording this, I've only got 3 names in the hat, guys. So at the moment, unless someone else comes up with it by tonight or by tomorrow at midday, Pete McMurtry, Anthony Wicks and Marky Lavelle are going to be in the hat to win a Gidgee Gorilla outdoor adventure shirt. And this is it here, everyone. This is the star of the show. All you vegans, look away now. I went into the butcher, 2 butchers as a matter of fact, and said, can you do me a Thor's hammer? There you go, that's what I was after, everyone. And both butchers looked at me and went, a what? I said, a Thor's hammer. And I had to explain to them what a Thor's hammer was. The Yanks all know what they are. I watch a show, a YouTube channel, guys, called The Bearded Butchers. They're in Ohio in the United States. Really good if you're interested in cuts of meat and all that type of stuff. The Bearded Butchers. So I went into my local butcher here, Ron and Dan's, and I said to Lex, I want a bloody Thor's hammer. And he just looked at me and went, what? I had to tell him what it was. He brings out a whole beef shin for me. And here it is here. And what Lex did is he cut off the top. There it is, and I'm going to use that. I'm not going to waste that. And basically, you trim that down, And I'm going to have to wash my hands after I've already washed my hands. I'm going to have to wash them again. There it is, everyone. A Thor's hammer. Now, we've all probably had stews with shin beef in there. And all they do is get that and cut it into steaks on the bandsaw. And you'll get a bone in the middle and shin beef around the outside. It's a great beef to do stews and everything with. And that's what we're doing today. We're going to do a Thor's hammer, slow cooked in the Potjie with vegetables. You'll see them go in later. And I'm going to cook it in a red wine sauce, basically. Slow cook it in a red wine sauce. So instead of cutting that into shin beef steaks, I'm just doing it totally as a Thor hammer. Now, if you wanted to slow cook it and whatever, I know the Yanks can wrap that up in alfoil, but the reason they're called a Thor's hammer is it looks like bloody, what's his name? Chris Hemsworth. I might give him that. I'll post it over to him for his next Thor movie. There's a Thor's hammer, everyone. My next dilemma, after I stop filming, is I'm going to put it in the Potjie, because I don't think that's going to fit in the Potjie. I might have to get the hacksaw out and take the bone off so that goes in. I don't really need that top bone, but that's a bit of a novelty. It's a big thing in America, Thor's hammers. Over here in Australia, the butchers never heard of them. They cut shin beef, but no one seems to do Thor's hammer. The Yanks have got it all over us when it comes to cuts of meat and all that type of stuff. So there it is, a Thor's hammer. I'm going to be slow cooking that in the Potjie. Now I'm going to turn the camera off. I'm going to put it in the Potjie, and if I need to, which I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to get my hacksaw out, and I'm going to have to hacksaw the handle off, okay, or it won't fit in the Potjie. There you go. Well done to those. Pete McMurtry was the only one who said Thor's hammer. The other two, Anthony Wicks and Marky Lavelle, said shin beef, or one of them said beef on the bone, I think was the answer. And I thought, oh, do I give us? Other people said tomahawks. That's not a tomahawk, everyone. That is not a tomahawk. A tomahawk and a Thor's hammer, two different things. It's like an axe and a machete. They're not the same thing, all right? I'm comparing bloody meats to cutting implements now, aren't we? That's a Thor's hammer. A tomahawk is a steak with the long skinny bone coming out of there, okay? All right, will this fit? I don't think so. I'm going to have to get the hacksaw out. Now I know why people just buy shin beef already cut on the bandsaw. It had no hope of fitting in the Potjie. I got to take the whole handle off. I started hacksawing and thought, I'm going to be here for a year. So I've got the old Ryobi reciprocating saw, and it's getting through. Righto, I'll give that a wash now. Bloody hell, I should have just bought shin beef, but it wouldn't have been as exciting, would it? Guess who's going to get to mung on that this afternoon? While things are cooking. Oh, it's got some nice soft bone marrow. What I might do is try and break that open with a hammer or something. And there's some nice soft bone marrow in there. I know who'll love that. Raph will be smashing that this arvo. It's starting to rain again. That's why I'm in the shed, everyone. This was going to be a backyard cook-up. Righto, I've taken a lot of the sinew and that off the outside. Not all of it, but most of it off the outside of the shin beef, okay? Next thing I'm going to do, season it up. I've got the charcoal on out there. That coconut husk charcoal I like using in the blue bag at Bunnings. It used to be 19 bucks a bag. Went in the other day, $30. 30 bucks a bag. It's just like, you're kidding me. Ridiculous. Right, let's season this up. Plenty of salt. Who's the bloke? Adrian someone. Meat loves salt and salt loves meat. It's true. I'm going to put heaps of pepper on as well. People go, don't put pepper on and sear it burns. I don't know, I like the peppery, like on the outside of a steak. It's the old, do you put pepper on when you sear a steak to get the crust on the outside? A lot of people say, yeah. Other people go, don't put pepper on, it burns and gives it a bitter taste. I don't know, I like it. Works for me. And I'm going to, for a bit of extra flavour, because this is going to end up as a big stew, remember? Bit of Slacken's Montreal steak seasoning. This is just this will come off in the stew and just add more flavour. This stuff is bloody beautiful. Slacken sent me a little container of this, guys, and I used it all. And then I found that I could get it on eBay, and this is a McCormick's McCormick's Grill Mates Montreal steak. That is very, very nice, and you can get it on eBay. It's about 10 bucks for a big container like that. McCormick's Montreal steak. Get in on that. It's bloody very, very nice seasoning. It's beautiful on the outside of a steak. It really is. Rightio, let's turn that over now. Flip him over. Oh. When you work with olive oil and raw meat, there's just not much you can do, eh? You gotta deal with it and clean up later. Then wipe your salt and pepper shakers down and all that type of stuff with a disso rag. And right, more pepper. Speed up, buck, and this is going to be another hour-long bloody cook-up. You know how I go. I don't know how these people do 5-minute cook-ups on YouTube, and it's just everything's just edited. All you see is edit, and it's just like, I can't enjoy it, guys. I'd rather see what people are actually doing. I know you don't want to see me chop an onion up and all that. I don't go that silly, but you've got to get the idea. That like Andy's Cooks or whatever, I don't like watching his shorts because you don't know what he's putting in there. I like watching the full clips of him. That'll do, I reckon. The bottom's just bloody bone there. It's just all shin bone. So anyway, once that charcoal, I'm going to wash my hands now. Once the charcoal is ready to go, I'm going to tip it in one end of this flat out fire pit, and we're going to season this up in the skillet to get it, just to brown it on the outside, get that crust on, and then it'll be going into the Potjie with a heap of other stuff, and you'll see that soon. So I've got the charcoal on. Rafa's out. Rafa heard on the doggy vine. He said the jungle drums were beating, and there's a bone out there somewhere for me. He's unbelievable.
You need bay leaf.
Bay leaves, Roz just said. Have we got any? Yeah, Roz just said put a couple of bay leaves in. I will. So Roz is I shouldn't say this, but Roz is out the back hiding from the Jehovah Witness at the moment, who are out the front of the house, and with Jamil. So Roz, Jamil, someone at the door for you, and she ran out the back, and poor Jamil stuck with them out the front. Anyway, they're all good people. They just come and have a chat. They don't.
I'm just busy Saturday morning. She's
busy. That's what it is. All right, let's get into it. Charcoal's going to go in here. This is what I was going to say. She's hiding out the back from them. Charcoal's going in there, and then the skillet's going over while the charcoal's really hot, and I'm going to brown the outside of the Thor's hammer up, okay? And then what I'm going to do is put the Potjie over this end as well. I need some heat at the start. I'm going to sizzle up some onion and some celery, and then I'm going to put in this, basically make the sauce and bring the sauce to a simmer. And then the meat will go in, the brown meat will go in, and then I'm going to put the Potjie up this end of the flat out fire pit. Just move a little bit of charcoal up this end, and that way I can just control the temperature. I don't want it bubbling away too hot. I'm going to slow cook this all day, so I just want to see the odd, real slow bubble come to the top every now and then. That's what you call a slow simmer. So hot up this end, the skillet, and the good thing about the flat out fire pit, a couple of bars that go through, so I can get the skillet up above the charcoal, and if it's too hot I can always put it up on the top one. These are a good bit of kit, eh? These flat out fire pits, I rate them, guys, but once again not for camping, more for backyard cook-ups, but they're very, very good. Righto, that charcoal should be just about done. Ooh, that's hot. Ooh, look at that. Rightio. Bobby Ass's poker. Around there. Righto. Let's get the skillet really hot for this. We'll warm that skillet up, and then we're gonna a little bit of oil, and we're gonna sear that Thor's hammer. Right, I just went in and made another cup of coffee while that pan heated up, and I can tell that is super hot. Some oil. It's on a slight angle. Righto, here we go, guys. Without dropping it, hopefully. That's what we want to hear. Rightio. Oh boy, you should smell that. That Montreal seasoning when it hit the oil, everyone. Boy, oh boy, what a smell. You've got to get some of that. Grillmaster's Montreal steak. It's a Canadian thing. Canadian seasoning. And McCormick's do it here, which is a well-known seasoning brand. I said Slacken sent me some over and I used it all, and it was too dear to get the Canadian stuff over, and I found that on eBay. About $10 plus delivery. So anyway, let's just sear the outside of that now. Get it nice and brown. We're not cooking it, we're just searing the outside. Righto. Let's see how that looks. Flipping a bit. Beautiful. Look at that nice brown crust on the outside. We'll just keep flipping them around. Oh boy, I wish you could smell that, everyone, that Montreal seasoning. Absolutely beautiful. Put some oil back this way. See if I can sit him up on the bone a bit. Oh, stay on there. Sorry, I need a King Brown's glove. I might have to grab it in a minute. There you are. Let's just seal the end bit a bit. I'm not going to be able to seal this end because of that bone. That reciprocating saw did a good job getting through there. And that there, the bone marrow, that is flavour in there, everyone, let me tell you. Righto, as the rain comes down, lucky I came in the shed, eh? Righto. Oh, stay in there. So, I just seared the outside. I'm not finished yet, hang on. I've got that bit to go yet. In you go, with all the flavour. Righto, I'll hose that off. Let's see this little bit here. That was the top of the Thor's hammer. That was the top bit that he cut off to expose the handle. He said you might as well use it. It's good, perfectly good beef. So we'll just sear the outside of that, eh? Righto, so that bit there's seared enough. Oh, geez, that was these stupid friggin' tongs. Useless. Absolutely useless. Righto. Next thing now is the Potjie, and we want the Potjie hot at the start. As I said, this is where I use the heat from the charcoal, and when I start simmering, the Potjie's going to come down this end with just a few of these things under it to slow it down. But at the moment I want a nice heat, and it sits beautifully on those 2 bars there on the flat out fire pit. That is spot on. Righto, let's bring the Potjie up to temperature. Let's start. I gave that another bit of a rinse out, the old Potjie, guys. She was still a bit bloody, I didn't clean it properly from last time. Anyway, bit of olive oil in the bottom, and it's not quite hot enough at the moment. It is starting to sizzle. It's coming up to temp. Yeah, starting to sizzle. Some 2 medium brown onions, and I'm going to throw some celery in as well. In with some celery, and that's going to be your base flavour for the stew. Right, mix. Now, they say you can't stir a Potjie. I'm not going to once the sauce and everything's done, but I've got to do this to start with. Right, let's just soften those veggies. That's not quite as hot as I'd like. I've just put a bit more charcoal under there. The more air you get through, the quicker your charcoal will burn out. So my only challenge today is make sure I don't take my eye off the ball when it comes to charcoal. So first ingredient, I'm just going to make a sauce. That's about $2 a bottle. Italian passata. In we go with you. Rightio. Now you know what I always do with that, don't you? I said it was going to be in a red wine sauce. Bit of Merlot in there. And I'll put it all in. I'll have to buy another bottle now. I'll have to buy another bottle to drink. We'll give that a shake up, eh? Get that in there. Rightio. Next one, some Aussie tomatoes, Armada brand, guys. Australian bloody growing. And I got the ones with a bit of flavour in, basil and garlic, which reminded me, I just went inside to get some minced garlic and minced ginger, which I would normally put through a stew, and I've got none. You idiot. You know the tubes of minced garlic and ginger? If you're going out camping to do this, throw a tube of minced garlic and ginger in and throw that in. I don't have any, guys, but I've got the basil and garlic mixed tomatoes. In they go. Rightio. Everyone said if you're going to use tomato, offset the tardiness with some sugar, less the coffee. Righto, a bit of sugar in. Righto, that'll do. And next one, we're using beef shin, so we'll use beef stock. You can use water. I just got this, cheap as chips. Righto, let's go in with some beef stock. Now I need to be able to cover all this beef. I'm going to use that whole container. What is that, a litre? 1 litre, I'll have a look in a minute. Beef stock, in you go. Yeah, 1 litre, 4 cups. So 4 cups of beef stock. Don't want to waste that tomato in that can, so just about half a cup of water straight out of the hose. Rinse the can out. Righto, let's bring that to the simmer. I forgot, Roz said put some bay leaves in. Hey, these things here, I got them off eBay. Michelle Gall showed me. They're like a press seal bag with a double press seal there, and in the shape of the jar, and they come in different sizes, and they're great for keeping your herbs in, or your herbs if you're slacking, and it keeps them nice and fresh. So some bay leaves here. What tree does a bay leaf come off? Is it a bloody gum tree? I don't know. Let's get some bay leaves in there. Oh, it's probably too many, but anyway, you can go in. A lot of people put bay leaves in their spaghetti bolognese as well, so bay leaves go well with any sort of tomato-y sort of based dish, which this is going to be, a tomato and red wine base. Put your bay leaves back in, press seal that up, and it keeps them nice and fresh. So I don't know what they were called, just have a look for them on eBay. Press seal, jar, thingamajigs, and see if you can find them. They are bloody fantastic when you're camping, everyone, and they're nice and flat, so that you can put them in like that. So that's our sauce. I'm not going to put salt and pepper in yet. There was heaps of salt and pepper and that Montreal seasoning on the thing. Tell you what I might sprinkle in there a little bit later is some dried chili flakes. I like to put a few dried chili flakes through, but not yet. I'll get them later on. I'm going to put that lid on and I'm going to bring that to the simmer. I'm going to simmer that for a few minutes, and then the beef's going in. Then I'm going to move this over here with a small amount of charcoal, and that's where the real slow cook starts. And I'm going to simmer this really as slow as I can until about 5 o'clock this afternoon. What is it now? It's about 10:30 or whatever. So I'm going to slow cook the shit out of this shin beef. It's a cheap cut of meat. Well, it wasn't cheap. That thing was 60 bucks. It's not cheap. Nothing's cheap these days, but it is a cheaper cut of meat, and you need to slow cook it to make it nice and tender. You can't just throw shin beef on a barbecue and eat it like a rump steak or a rib fillet, okay? This is a slow cook type cut of meat, and I reckon it's going to turn out all right. And the smell of the celery, the onion, the bay leaves, and that coming out of there, and the basil and garlic tomatoes, really good. As I said, forgot the ginger and the minced garlic. I would put a squirt of minced ginger and garlic in there too, guys, and I forgot. Bloody hell. Anyway, it doesn't matter, it'll still be nice. I just went inside to get the chilies and I found this, so I didn't have any minced garlic, so I'm going to use some garlic powder. which is, no I'm not, look at that, useless. Everything just, from the humidity up here, useless. Gonna have to start buy everything in packets and use it and put them in these things now, because I buy the bottled stuff and by the time I use it once and then I go to use it again and it's stuck together because of the humidity. That's unusable. Bloody hell. So anyway, some crushed chilies, everyone. I like a bit of heat. There we go. Throw them in. Back into one of these little sealed jar things, the plastic jars that you get on eBay. I don't know what they're called, don't ask me. I have no idea. Anyway, I'm gonna have to go through my spice cupboard because I reckon 90% of my spices will be no good. Right, the meat hasn't gone in yet, so Heinz says don't stir a potjie. I've got to stir this for now just to get all the flavours through. Once the beef goes in, I won't stir. Heinz probably throwing shit at his TV now, seeing me stir a potjie. But I find with the potjies too, because you don't stir them, you get a lot of stuff sticking to the bottom, especially if the heat's a bit too high. So that's one thing with a potjie. Because you don't stir it, tends to have a bit of sticking to the bottom. But I'm stirring this at the moment and there's some good heat coming in. That's slowly coming to the simmer. Lid back on. Hey, just while I'm waiting for that to come to the simmer, someone asked me the other day, Buck, what are your 3 favourite YouTube channels? That's hard. That's a hard one, but one of them has got to be Cowboy Kent Rowlands over there in Oklahoma, I think he's in the USA. Been watching Kent for a long time now. I actually sent Kent and Shan an email about a week ago, not even that, and invited Cowboy Kent to come on for a live feed. Haven't heard back, don't expect to, but hey, unless you ask, you don't know, do you? Wouldn't that be a wonderful live feed with Cowboy Kent Rowlands? He's still got one of the original chuck wagons and he used to cook for all the cowboys out mustering cattle and that. Just a really interesting guy, Cowboy Kent Rowlands, R-O-L-L-I-N-S. The other day, guys, bloody sad. He's had an offsider for many years on his YouTube channel and his name was Bonehead the Beagle, and they used to just call him Beegs, and he was his chief taste tester. Every time Kent does a cook up, bit of steak or whatever, him and Dukes, these 2 dogs, and he's got a couple others now, used to always be his taste testers, and he'd measure how many tail wags, and that was how good the steak and that was. It was good, and Kent loved his animals. Anyway, Beegs passed away the other day, and Kent did a bit of a memorial thing for Beegs, and he was visibly upset, as you would be, and I was just thinking, I'm just not looking forward to the day Rafa goes. You know how close I am to Raf. And as Kent said, they're not pets, they're family members, and they are. And it was bloody good. If you haven't seen that, go and see Cowboy Kent Rowlands. He does a fantastic tomahawk steak cook up on his last one. The one before that was his memory to Beegs the dog, who was his chief taste tester. So yeah, one of my, let's hope Kent comes on. Not slacking. Mike, if you're watching, drive from Colorado down to Oklahoma and say to Kent Rowlands and his wife Shan, Buck wants to do a live feed with you. Give him a ring and bloody book it in. Wouldn't that be a fantastic jibber jabber, that one? Anyway, let's check this sauce, see if it's come to the simmer, and then I'm putting the beef in, and then that's when the slow cook starts. Hey, look what I just found in the shed fridge, some garlic powder. So I will put a bit in now. I knew there was a reason I kept it. Take the lid off so I can get it out a bit quicker. A little bit of some garlic powder in there. Rightio. Yeah, up here you've got to keep everything in the fridge or it sticks together. That's almost at the simmer now, everyone. Some steam coming out of it. She's almost at the simmer. And as I said, later on this afternoon, other vegetables will go in there. I'll let you know what they are later on when I put them in. Righto. Not long to go now. I was just thinking, rather than move the charcoal over here, I'm just gonna, that's slowly dying down. I'm just gonna keep the potjie here for now, because this afternoon I am gonna cook a damper So I'll have the Potjie and the camp oven going at the same time. But for now, I'm just going to keep using this charcoal because that is slowly burning down and the heat is going out of it. I've got big lumps of charcoal there, guys, and I reckon that'll be better for slow cooking than the coconut shell stuff, which burns out a lot quicker. So I'm just going to cut this large lump charcoal down into smaller pieces, and that'll be better for slow cooking, I think. Righto. We have a simmer. Last stir, Hein, I promise. Stir that all through. Now I've got to work out how I'll probably have to lie it on its side, I think. Will it go in? No, I'm going to have to lie it on its side like that, I think. Otherwise I'm not going to get I need to have it submerged in this bit. In you go. Put all the nice flavour in. Another ambulance. Some lady got stabbed to death down the highway last night. Can you believe it, near Innisfail? Just incredible. Probably another traffic accident, who knows? Never ending, eh? Righto. That is going to simmer till this afternoon. So that's a little bit more than I'd like at the moment, but the charcoal's burning down. I'll let it burn down. I won't stir it, but what I will do after a couple of hours is turn the beef over so that this side cooks in the sauce as well. But yeah, that's just simmering away nicely, nice and slow. I had too much of a simmer going on over here. There was still a bit too much heat in there, and I don't want it simmering its arse off or boiling its arse off, so I've scraped a bit of charcoal from here. It's just a few bits under there because I want that going a lot slower. I'm cooking this all day, remember, right up till about 5 o'clock this afternoon. In the meantime, this afternoon, I'll be throwing the veggies in, a couple hours out, and I'm also going to knock up a cheese and jalapeno damper in the medium-sized camp oven. So, got to have a nice bit of crusty damper with some butter on to dip into this later on. But yeah, I just took it off there, a bit too much heat there. Let's have a look. Still simmering away there. So that'll slowly simmer down now. That was simmering its arse off basically when I took the lid off. So I've just scraped a few bits of charcoal under here. That'll settle down a bit now for a really, the slower the better. The slower and longer the better when it comes to any sort of slow cooked beef, guys. Righto. I have to keep my eye on this. Do a bit of a clean up now. Got to keep my eye on it. I don't want it to be too hot, and I don't want the charcoal to go out, or I've got to restart charcoal up. So I've got to come out every half an hour and keep my eye on this thing. But it's good. It's that type of meal where you can be out doing something else. You're not just on this the whole day. You can get out and do a few things and clean the shed up and all that type of stuff in between checking it. Righto, do your stuff. Righto, it's about 3 o'clock. I might be going a bit early on the spuds, but doesn't matter. I'm going to put the normal potatoes in. Nice big chunks like this, guys. Down there. Don't want it too small. If this breaks down and mushes up too much, it's not a big deal, because what the potato does, it's natural thickener. It'll actually thicken. You don't want it too runny, so it should thicken it up, which will be good. It's how we want it. We don't want it undercooked either, so I might be throwing them in a bit early, but if it mushes up, it's not a big deal. It's going to be a big stew. Oh no, this little fella here. Just do him in halves. I use the washed potato, so I don't have to worry about washing those big dirty spuds. They're good for chips, I guess, those other ones. We always get the washed spuds. because we're lazy. And what I'm going to do is throw some mushrooms in now, a punnet of mushrooms. So I'll just bloody slice them up with Brad Howell's meat cleaver here. Make sure I don't chop my fingers off. So I'll just chop the mushrooms up like this, guys. Just put them in halves, nice big chunks. I just put a bit more charcoal on. I just checked the meat. It's coming off the bone, but it hasn't started, maybe I'm a bit impatient, it hasn't started breaking down yet. And I want to be able to, basically, end of the day, shred it with a fork so it goes through the stew. I've still got a few hours to go yet. I might be getting a bit impatient. I said, it's not breaking down. She said, just be patient. So I just cranked a bit more charcoal up, and as soon as the veggies go in, I've got some charcoal on, and I'm going to get the damper done early. I don't want to leave the damper. I'm going to do the damper. It's going to be a cheese, jalapeno. I'm going to put some olives through it too. Get the damper done and let that cool down, so when I slice it this afternoon, it's already cooled down. It'll be able to slice it a bit easier and have a nice slice of damper with some butter on to soak that the zura, the juice up, which will be good. Right, I'll finish this off. Yeah, that's simmering away. Leave that there. What I'm going to do, Hein, hopefully this isn't counted. Yeah, it's still not softened. It is slowly getting there. This isn't counted as a stir, Hein, I hope. It's coming off the bone, but it's not getting soft enough yet. So put him face down. And righto. I'm getting serious now. In go the spuds, and this will help thicken that up a bit. The spuds and the mushrooms. One of the mushrooms just hit the deck, everyone. If that was inside, I'd use the 10-second rule, but... Oh, look at that. That's getting the 10-second rule. In you go. All the spuds and mushroom. With about 3 hours to go. I've still got beans and sweet potato to go in. So still not stirring it. Just making sure all that's down there. Let's have a little taste test. Oh geez, I went a bit hard with the chilli, everyone. Roz is going to be up me for that. That's quite spicy. I went too hard on the chilli. I never learn. I like it hot, but Roz doesn't. Anyway, I'm going to get in the shit for that. I went a bit hard on the chilli flakes. Time to make a damper, everyone. I've got some leftover self-raising flour. I'll see how much that'll be. Oh, close. I reckon I'll need a little bit. Now, hopefully that's not the one Roz put the plain flour in. I did a damper one. Oh no, it's a new one, so I'm good to go. I did a damper once, wondered why it turned out like a pancake. Roz put plain flour in the self-raising container, so that'll be heaps. Righto. Self-raising flour, what have we got there? About 2.5 cups maybe. Salt. Let's get some salt in there. Righto. Tell you what else I forgot, the cheese. Now the next thing I'm going to put through is some diced up Kalamata olives, seedless obviously, and some diced up pickled jalapeno, which I didn't chop up last time, so I'm going to throw them in. Olives and jalapeno. And I forgot the cheese. I've got to go and get some cheese. Righto, I'm back with the cheese. Try and open him up. Righto, let's put, I don't know, about half a cup or so grated cheese in there. That's heaps. And look what else was in the fridge, everyone. A sneaky Hahn Super Dry. It was the last one too. I'm going to have to restock. Oh, you beauty. Now, what else we need? Bit of water. Water, I should say. Steve W. be up me. Go and speak the King's English, but it's not water, it's water. Righto. With a knife, let's mix him through. You see me do this on a damper just recently Just remember, a traditional damper, self-raising flour, a pinch of salt and water. That's it. Now that's going to be too dry, so we add a bit of water in there. Water. There we go. Or water, as Mike would say. Righto, let's go. You can kind of tell how it's going to come together. Do it with a knife. Try and get as much of the flour with the knife as you can. And it all starts binding together. I reckon that's all. Might try a little bit more. Tiny splash, I reckon. I reckon this is going to be with the olives in. Digi said put some chopped up Kalamata olives through, and I thought, oh yeah, that'll go all right. Bit of scape there. Righto. Now this is where we get our clean hands dirty, everyone. Sprinkle a bit more flour on, and we just try and slowly bring this together. And I don't want to knead this, I just want to bring it together, everyone. See if we can get as much of that as we can. Might be a little bit dry down the bottom. Might keep going with the knife here and all that dry flour on the bottom there to join in. We don't want to leave too much of it behind. Righto. Flour over the top. Some people use olive oil on their hands. I don't. I just use a bit of flour. A bit more. Start bringing him together. Roll him over without trying to knead it too much. I'm not going to try and knead this, but we do want it to kind of come together. Righto, a bit more flour so he doesn't stick. This way you can start flouring it up, guys. Righto, that's getting about it now. Give it one squash down, and I reckon we're about there. Just shape him a bit. Gonna flatten him down also. Flatten him down so he fits in the camp oven. More flour over the top. There we go. That's how he's going in, everyone. He's going in just like that. Flatten him a little bit more. Righto, done. Put the lid on me flour. I'll just let that sit there for a bit. Wash my hands, have a beer, and we'll come back. Righto, so I'm going to put a bit more charcoal over this side, not too much. Righto. And I'm going to put the potjie over here now, over that charcoal. A little bit more charcoal in here for under the camp oven. Just as I went to do this, the battery went flat. That's the trouble with filming when you cook. So we want nice sprinkling of flour on the bottom so we don't burn it. I hope it's not too hot on the bottom. Righto. Pop him in. Cool. Down there. Righto. Where'd I put the lid? There it is, camouflaged up. Lid there. And some heat on the top, eh? Let's get a bit of heat going here. Oh, probably don't need as many heat beads as I've got there. I'll put the rest over. Righto, that should be enough for now. Actually, I'll just throw them down under the potjie. Why not? That won't hurt. Rightio. About 25 minutes, hopefully. Let's see how we go. Right, everyone. I'm going to drop the sweet potato in. That's still simmering away there. Sweet potato, in you go. Oh, I've just dropped some down there. Better ash, never hurt anyone. I'll go and rinse that off with the hose. Bloody hell, but. Right, there's always one that wants to escape. Poke them down. See that chili oil on the top there? Righto. How hot's that? Oh shit, that is hot. I need Bobby Ass's thingamajig here. I just won't put it right on, I'll just let a bit of steam escape out of there. And while I'm at it, everyone, I'm going to shove this in, shove it in the damper. Just my kebab stick here, make sure she comes out clean, eh? Which it does. I think the damper may be done. It's coming out clean. Righto, time for that damper to come off. Let's take him over to the counter. That's the cheese, jalapeno and olive damper. It's making a bit of a thuddy sound, so I'm going to let that cool down a bit on the bench for 5 minutes. Put a knife around there and see if we can get him out. Put him on Terry G's chopping board. And we'll let him cool down so I can slice it better this afternoon, and hopefully all going well. And I know it'll be right. If the bottom's a little bit overdone, who cares? It came out clean, there was nothing sticking to the kebab stick, so it's cooked inside. It looks nice on the outside. Righto, let's let that cool down a bit before I get him out of the camp oven. Moment of truth, everyone. I've just gone around the outside, so hopefully it'll come out a bit. Out she comes. Oh, that is still hot on the bottom. Oh, hear that thud then? That's how you know your damper's right. Hear that dull thud on it. Oh yeah, that's going to be good. I'm just going to let that sit now and cool down. And I'll tell you now, look at that for a damper, everyone. Nice crusty outside. It's going to be fluffy inside. I haven't cut into it yet. I'll tell you what, I'm going to talk myself up here. That's not a bad damper. How bloody good's that? You beauty. Righto. Will that balance there? No, it won't. Final ingredient, everyone. Some fresh beans. In you go. Got to have some healthy shit in there. What I've done, a little bit of heat under there. So these two rails, I've raised them up higher, so it's not as hot, and when that charcoal burns out a bit more, I can lower those bars down and put the Potjie down a bit lower. I'm going to leave the lid off a bit so it's not so runny. I want to start thickening that up now. So I'm going to let a bit of the steam escape. Righto, I reckon real slow simmer, another hour, and we'll be ready to eat. Hey, remember that bone from this morning that I cut off? Well, I just cracked it open with the axe in half to expose the bone marrow, and Rafa is smashing it. He said, I don't mind these bones, everyone. And he said, I'm going to get stuck into that bone marrow. Hey, bud. He loves his bones. I'm going to take this out and see if I can shred it and put it back in. Oh, shit. Oh. That's not working. That is. Righto. Where's that other bit? Now, I know this is technically not a stir hind. Where's that other bit of beef gone? Here it is. Let's put him in. Let's go and shred him up, eh? Hey folks, I can tell by that it's a little bit runny. I'm going to thicken it up. I've just got 3 teaspoons of Gravox there and a bit of water. So this will thicken it up with a bit of beef gravy. Throw that in. Righto. While I'm shredding the beef, that'll thicken up. I'm going to put the beef back in. So there it is. There's the Thor's hammer, everyone. Look how much that shrunk down. Because I cut that, the beef was at the bone. Remember, I cut it off. And that's how much it shrunk. Righto, will it shred up? You bet it will. Look at that. You know, I could have kept going a bit longer with that, everyone. That's been about 7.5 hours. It's still shredding up. Oh, tons of barking next door. Shred him up with some couple of forks. Look at that. Oh, geez, it smells good too, everyone. That smells beautiful. It smells really, really nice. So what I'll do, I'll just keep shredding this up with the fork, or with the forks, I should say. And then I'm going to take the bone out. I'm not putting the bone back in. Look at that. Boy, oh boy. It's probably not... I've seen things a bit more when they say falling off the bone. I wouldn't say that, but it's close to. If I did that for another hour or so, I reckon I would have achieved that. But this is still going to be nice. Righto. Let's get all that nice shin beef off the bone. Shred him up a bit more and then we'll put him back in, eh? Look at that. And there's some good bone marrow there. Oh, yes. So that's thickening up a bit. Let's put our shredded shin beef back through. Looks all right, doesn't it, guys? Let's put him all back through. Nice big chunks of shredded shin beef. Taking the bone out. Oh yeah, look at that. Hein, I think this is going to constitute a stir, mate. I'm sorry. I want to get the shin beef through there. Hein's throwing shit at his TV as we speak, everyone. He's gone, Buck, you've turned it into a stew. It's not a potjie anymore. Righto. Bit more of a simmer. Let's cut this damper up, everyone. It's been sitting here for a little while now. It's cooled down. You can still feel it's a little bit of warmth in there, but righto, let's cut a nice thick piece here. Righto. How's that? It's not too bad. I thought there'd be a bit more olive through that. Anyway, oh, yeah, it's still warm inside. It's been sitting there a while. Cut that in half. Actually, I'll cut one more bit. Rightio. The one over there. Another piece in half here. Ooh. How's that? Cheese, jalapeno, and olive damper. I've discovered the secret now, thanks to the Camp Oven King. Don't need your damper. Or if you do, make it minimal. The Stuka dive bomber, he's out bloody spraying the bananas by the sounds of things. Nice bit of butter on there. Got to have butter, everyone. Got to have butter on damp. People are going, Buck, you'll have a heart attack putting that much butter on. No, you're allowed to do it on damper. What do you reckon, everyone? That's not a bad, that's fluffy. That's fluffy as, look at that. That is fluffy, and that's going to go great with that bloody potjie stew, which is a contradiction in terms. Potjie's not supposed to be a stew, but I think that's what I'm going to call it. shin beef stew in the Potjie. Let's go over and serve up, eh? Okie doke, so I've got the shredded beef through there now. I'll put a little bit of Gravox in, everyone, just to thicken it up a bit. So let's go. 2 spoons, that'll be heaps, I reckon. Bit of potato in that one. That'll do for now. Let's go and put some damper in and do the taste test. I don't want to give it to Roz unless it's edible. Rightio, here we go. It's about 5:30 in the afternoon, maybe 5:45. I didn't want it to go fully dark thing. So there it is there. This is a stew. Hein's going to go, Buck, that's not a Potjie. Anyway, if it's a stew, it's a stew. Bit of the damper to go in there. Now listen, that is a good camp feed. You could do that in the camp oven. To be honest, if I did this next time, I've got to taste it first. I just use shin beef, like shin beef steaks from the butcher. I wouldn't buy a big Thor's hammer. But hey, it looked all right for the clip, didn't it? It was just something a bit different. I thought I'd do a Thor's hammer, but it still come up all right. If you're going to do this out camping in the camp oven, you just buy shin beef steaks and slow cook it in the camp oven that way. Right, let's do the taste test. I've got a funny feeling this is going to be a bit hot for Roz. Yeah, it's got a bit of kick. Yeah, bit of kick coming in here, but not too bad. It's not as hot as I thought it'd be. I may have redeemed myself. Bit of potato. The potato's broken down a little bit, but not too much. It hasn't gone too gooey. Geez, that's hot. Oh boy, those potatoes hold the heat. That's, for me, that's the right chilli amount there. I like it with a bit of kick, eh? It's not ridiculous. Listen, if the kids were going to eat this, you wouldn't put the chilli in, would you? The beef is tender as. It really is. That's nice. Let's try it with a bit of damper. In the Zura, the juice. Oh. That damper is fluffy as. My dampers have always been a bit hard because I need the shit out of them. Wasn't until I spoke to Ron, the camp oven king, at the last show. He said, mate, don't need your damper. He said, if you need it, you need the air out of it. I know with bread, you've got to need the shit out of it, but with dampers, don't. It's not bread. It's a damper. Don't need the air out of it. That's a great winter's food. All you Mexicans down there, get stuck into that. Make a big beef shin stew with your veggies, all your favourite veggies and that. That damper, that's two in a row now I've absolutely nailed. Fluffy as. Oh yeah. And it's soaking up all that juice. All that beef gravy with a bit of a chili kick to it. Wow. It's not ridiculously hot like I thought it'd be. The chili floated to the top before when I did a taste test, but when you mix it all through, it's not too bad. Look at that big chunk of beef. Soft and tender. Potato, beans. There you go. What do you reckon, everyone? Put a comment down. How'd I go? I'll tell you what, I've nailed the damper. I can tell you that right now. That damper, I finally, after all these years, struck it the right mix with damper. Don't need them. Don't need your dampers. They come out bloody fluffy. Beautiful. All right, I'm going to serve up for Jamil and Roz. Be good to each other. Let me know what you reckon, eh? I'll tell you now, if it was shit, I'd tell you. It's not. It's bloody nice. That's one of the best stews you'll have. See you later, eh? Catch you next time. Hope you enjoyed the cook-up. Something a bit different. Drop a comment. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Try saying that with a mouthful of damper. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button If you didn't like it, as Simon from bloody Lock Your Hub says, don't hit it once, hit it twice. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't like it. Someone's already trailed me for the live feed tomorrow. He made the mistake of making a spelling mistake. Well, if you're going to come on and troll me, everyone, make sure you got your shit together, because you're going to get it back threefold. All right, see you later.